Hello, it is Tuesday, and this is Unedited. Hello, on Tuesday, we come at you live here on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitch, everything else here. Talking to small businesses, entrepreneurs about their business and kind of what they got going on in life. Rob Morales, our CEO, and we're coming here at Studio 110, Phoenix, Arizona. I have a special guest that has agreed to join us for our next networking event, which I'll mention shortly. Please welcome Miss Janet Mcconnell. There we go. See, everybody can hear that. You can say hi. It's okay.
Hi, how are ya?
Is it offensive to say Janet?
It's better to say Janet.
Oh. You don't like the French thing? You don't like the Janet?
No.
Oh.
I've corrected people since I was a 3-year-old.
Oh. My apologies. Yeah. So we had you come on today. Exciting stuff. You're going to be one of our speakers for our event coming up on July 21st. If I may mention here, let me go to the board since we're talking about it already. July 21st. If you're watching us right now, please join us for Conquering the Road Ahead. Let me move Janet over a little bit so you can see. She is one of the headliners coming up to support our nonprofit, EpiHab of Phoenix, and some of the other things we got going on. So, hello.
Hello.
Are you nervous? Are you nervous being?
No, I've been looking forward to this.
Yes, and I appreciate you coming on. And one of the reasons we had you come on was not only just to promote the event, but to get to know you a little bit more too. And I've heard a little bit from our meeting. We had a meeting a little bit earlier today, and a little bit more as we've gotten to know each other. And the one big thing about you is that you're in this evolution, this change, right? Mm-hmm. You're going to be a speaker or trying to be a speaker.
Yes. Well, I've been a speaker my whole adult life as far as being a teacher, classroom teacher, a corporate trainer, director of operations, where I traveled all over the country presenting more or less a dog and pony show. So it was scripted, but had to kind of go above and beyond that to convince people that I understood what it was that they needed so that they would buy our product.
And your business primarily is fitness, right? It's really coaching, but you're on that transition piece to, I guess, to give back. I mean, is that kind of what's the goal behind going from this fitness guru to now this speaker, public presenter, all this stuff?
Well, it was kind of interesting because when I turned 50, everything really shifted in my life, realizing that I no longer wanted to work for somebody else. I no longer wanted to build somebody else's dream house. I wanted to build my own. So I decided to go into business for myself, become an entrepreneur.
That's like the heart of an entrepreneur, just to take on and embrace whatever comes your way, and at the risk of everything, right?
Right. Well, I kind of quit cold turkey without a plan. So I had to think about it for a little while about what I wanted to become. Well, during the time that I was finishing up my corporate career, I found myself to be incredibly out of shape, right at my late 40s, early 50s, and was completely lost on what to do about it. I had a doctor who said, listen, you're going to have early heart disease. You're going to die young, at a very young age, if you don't do something. And so it scared me. And he tried to hand me a stack of prescriptions for high blood pressure, triglycerides, cholesterol, all the stuff. Anybody out there listening, you know what I'm talking about. That moment where you come to terms with your own mortality.
And how old were you at that point?
I was 48.
48.
Yeah.
I'm going to be 43 in about 6 days.
Yeah.
And so I'm not too far from that. And I do realize that I came from a point where I gained quite an amount of weight. Mm-hmm. So I was about 310 pounds, my worst, and realized that I didn't want that anymore for my life. And concerned about that same thing, people coming in or a doctor going to the same doctor and giving me a pill for something. And I didn't want that. It didn't seem right.
Right. Yeah. I had always been a little athlete as a kid, very healthy and strong and fast. And it just stuck with me that I hadn't even given my body a chance to reconcile the situation. So luckily I knew my doctor pretty well. He knew me pretty well. And we made a deal. He said, all right, 6 months. We're going to make the appointment right now.
Yeah.
And in 6 months, if nothing has happened, nothing has changed, you will take these prescriptions.
Oh, wow.
So I said, deal. So we shook on it. And that afternoon I hired a trainer. And I started working out 3 days a week at 5 a.m. And it happened to be, I just picked a trainer that somebody in my office really liked. I didn't have anything else to go on. Well, she happened to be teaching resistance training. And so I got involved in a resistance training. I liked it. I loved the exercise. And so I was very faithful in going. I really didn't do anything about my nutrition, but I just loved lifting.
Yeah.
And 6 months went by. I had lost about 50 pounds. And I went back to my doctor, and I was still a little bit overweight, but I was so much better than I was the first time I saw him. Yeah. So he just said, keep going. I'll let you off the hook. So I did. I kept going. And then I saw somebody else. I saw another lady in the gym, she and her sister, who were a little bit younger than me, but they were ripped. They were just jacked. And I just thought, how does that happen? And then I looked at the exercises they were doing, and they were doing the same exercises I was doing. They were lifting the same weights. They were doing the same machines, the same. And so I realized I was just as strong as them. But why didn't I look like that? And my trainer said, well, Janet, it's the diet.
And I've always known, and the problem with like the thing for me that I discovered, it was largely due to the eating part too.
Yeah.
I lost the majority of my weight just by changing the way I eat, my habits more than really what I ate.
Right.
And then after a while, like you start losing, you get to a plateau. It's like, okay, so what more can I do? And then you start learning what you're eating affects you.
Right.
And then you start going, I was vegan for about a couple of years too.
Interesting.
And that was an experience, I will say.
Yes.
I mean, you substitute if you go vegan, you don't go vegan to lose weight. Just one. Okay.
Yeah.
That's point number one.
Right.
You don't do that. You do it mostly for health.
Right.
And I will tell you, like, you never feel satisfied. You feel full.
Yeah.
But you never feel satisfied.
Yeah.
And then and your substitute for meat is like everything carbs.
Right, exactly. Well, it's there's no one right way for everyone. So everybody, I encourage people to try different things. If you want to try paleo, or you want to try the vegan diet, or vegetarian or pescatarian, try it. Try it for a month. Measure yourself before, then be very faithful to your plan, and then measure. So you kind of treat yourself like a science experiment. But after a month or so, you should be able to see, I like what I'm seeing, I'm not seeing anything different, or I don't like what I'm seeing.
Yeah, and I'll put up a picture, so just so we can highlight what you looked like before and to what you transitioned to, and more recently what you competed against. So this was you at 42. Does not look like you.
I look like a librarian, and that's no ding on librarians.
I could see that, and you're brunette too.
Yes.
Is it more fun to be brunette or blonde?
It's more fun to be blonde.
And so this was at 42, and you transitioned to 52.
Right.
So was this like a competition that you entered into?
Yes, this is one of the earlier ones that I was in, where I was just figuring it all out.
Yeah.
And also, the difference between the 52 and 62 was that I was able to find a trainer who had been a former judge in these shows and really knew how to pinpoint exactly where I needed to grow.
Yeah.
It was very like laser fine-tuned. So as you progress, I had the perfect trainer for that 52 picture.
Yeah.
To get there, I had the perfect trainer for that. And then when I wanted more, then you just kind of find the new, like that thing of when the student is ready, the teacher appears.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
And I will say, I mean, just the emotional difference. I don't know if that's just the posturing, but what I'm perceiving from 52 to 62, different. I mean, you look just as good in each picture, but there seems to be more radiance and more kind of energy
confidence
at 62 than 52.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about a little bit what that transition was and what the differences were?
Yes. There's something funny about, well, people say, oh my gosh, how could you get out there in that bathing suit, that tiny thing, in front of all these
Well, I mean, you do look good.
These judges, all of these guys looking at you with their half glasses, looking up at you like, they're just scrutinizing you like a commodity, because that's what they're supposed to do. They're looking at all the little points that they're looking for excellence and symmetry and all of those things. But the thing that happens to you is when you confront your body, your own human body, and you dive in deep, and you start to have a conversation with your body. As you lift, you start to feel the muscles straining and moving and working together. You breathe differently. You stand differently. You walk differently. I tell you, over the first year or two that I really got involved, I completely changed the way I was in the world, but it was because of my body and the conversation I was having with it. And you start to, instead of thinking of your body as an enemy or just this thing that you complain about, you start to appreciate, because you see, I give it this, it gives me that. I take this away, it takes that away. It's a conversation. And so as you are working out and getting stronger, you're learning the language that your body speaks to you. It has a very distinct language. And then when you're fully melded together, then you stand there in radiance and confidence because you're fully integrated.
Yeah. And so, like, as far as the age goes, because today you're 66.
I'm 66.
I was careful. I was very careful. I even asked her ahead of time. I'm like, do I mention your age?
Yeah.
But that's part of, you know, the branding part of that too. It really goes to show you, and as I'm looking again at that picture, it goes to show you that age is really an excuse. You know, at least from what I'm seeing here. And I will tell you, I gave myself the excuses too. It's like, okay, well, you know, you're too old and, you know, whatever. Yeah. You know, add whatever excuse you want.
Yeah.
And it just shows people, at least to me, that there's always an opportunity to make those changes, despite whatever age you're at.
Right.
And that's kind of reflective in where you're at today, because you started this career, and I'll put the website up here too. You do personal fitness, correct?
Yes.
So this is Janet's website. If you're on right now, you can go click on and check her out. But you're in personal fitness today, but there's a different calling. At 66, there's a calling to get into. It sounds like you know what I'm inclined to do is just help people.
Yes.
Contribute and do something bigger. So you're looking at speaking and doing speaking events, as well as you're publishing a book too.
Right. Yes.
And so I don't think there's really ever a time where that there is a lack of opportunity to do these things, because it hasn't stopped you.
Right. Well, it's important for people to understand that age can be a mindset. And part of that mindset comes from society. Yeah. What's around you? Look at the people your age around you. Are they inspiring you? Or do they look a certain way because they believe that as you get older, you just kind of go downhill, hopefully as gracefully as possible, just go downhill. And I say, nope, that's not the way it's going to go. I'm going to be stronger and better and more competent and more prepared and more ready for the world as I get older.
Because you still do the personal fitness too.
Yes.
So somebody reached out and they went to your website. So the website again is ignitefitnesswithjanet.com.
Yes.
Ignitefitnesswithjanet.com.
With Janet. With Janet. Definitely with me.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Do you do like other things too, like outside of just the general kind of physicality piece of that? Does it integrate nutrition? But because the thing that spurred in my mind was, you know, getting rid of and separating from those negative influences in your life.
Right.
You know, and it's really one of those things. Like I realized that the people around you also kind of dictate your mental process, your emotional process, and sometimes that affects your physical process. Because if you're upset and you're angry all the time, you're going to find other people who are upset and angry. And if you're one of those upset eaters that goes out and goes and meets your friend out at the bar and has a couple beers, guess what? Over time, it's just going to way heavier. And again, the circle you surround yourself with are all those beer drinking, depressed people.
Right.
I was there too at one point.
Sure.
So that's part of the integration too, is to kind of, I guess, help people realize some of those things.
Right. Yeah. It's important to look at the 5, 6, 7 people that you're around the most. Yeah. And those are the people that you're going to most be like, because they have a lot of influence on you. Who do you listen to? Who do you study? Who do you follow?
Who do you listen to?
I listen to a lot of different fitness people. I think one of the people, it's interesting because, well, I'll share this with you lately. Yeah. For some reason, I have gotten really interested in listening to MMA fighters and boxers being interviewed. Now, it's not because I aspire to do those things.
Yeah, it's a little gruff, man.
Yeah, well,
It's pretty aligned with the fitness part.
It's one of those things where the person speaking is, especially a woman, is going against the grain. I mean, there's not very many like them.
Yeah.
And I love hearing, I have a notebook with me and I pick up things that they say. Like one of the things I heard a fighter say is, don't tell me who I'm going to be fighting next.
Yeah.
Just tell me what day it is and how much I have to weigh. Because they understand that they just are, that they're themselves, they're bringing their best, strongest self to the stage, to the ring, I should say. And it's not about the other person. You cannot look at them. You're bringing yourself, and then you're placing yourself in opposition to them. I love stuff like that. It's very motivational to me to listen to somebody talk like that.
That's the true heart of an entrepreneur, right? Is that you really have to almost get rid of all those influences. Like the biggest one for me was my dad. You know, like, because my primary business is real estate. And so when I first talked to him about getting into that, he's like, well, you know, it's never like, oh, don't do it, son. I don't want you to do that. Don't get into that. I think I would almost prefer that, rather than the well, you know, if you want to, you know, it's like there's no confidence in me whatsoever.
Yeah.
No, like, hey, I saw you grow up and I saw you do these great things, and I think you can apply what you learned there and put it into that. And if you take off with that, oh my God, I think you'll do really great. No.
Yeah, right.
It's usually like, well, and then those moments of silence, just like, oh my God, you know. And I remember when there was certain parts of my life where I never expressed anything to him because I just knew it was going to come with negativity.
Right.
And so that plays into a lot of those things too. Those things you really have to question, you know, are the people around you, are the things you're eating. Like one of the things that I realized eating wise, how bad certain things were cooked and the way they were manipulated in order for, I mean, everything we eat is manipulated.
Yes.
I mean, from salts to sugars, it just makes you want to eat more.
Right.
You know, and until you start realizing those things, you're like, hey, you know, this McDonald's like chicken sandwich is not making me lose weight. The Jared Subway plan is not working. You know, like, hey, he lost 500 pounds.
Right.
You know, he ate sandwiches. I should be able to eat sandwiches and lose weight too. But
right.
It's really those things like you really have to recognize, I think. And you brought that up. You know, that's very interesting that you have to really see the outcome of those things.
Right.
And how they influence you so much.
Well, and you can look at the people around you that will influence you to be better or to inspire you. But there is a piece where you have to be inspired by yourself.
Wow.
Because yourself, you're the only one. You're it. You're the only one of you. Yeah. And that's why I like that idea of bring your best self. Bring your best self to your day. Bring your best self to your job. Bring your best self to what you're passionate about. Because I mean, you just get one round, you know, and it goes fast. Life goes very fast. You know, I during COVID, it was kind of a quieter time in the gym. That was a rough time. A lot of people had to pivot, and so I was still training a few people, but I had lots of time to really think, where am I going? What's next?
Yeah.
What do I still want to keep doing this? Do I want to do other things? And I really got to thinking about the fact that at that time I was turning 65, and I thought, I am going to be 70 years old in 5 years.
Oh, you do that too? Do the backward counting?
How much longer am I going to wait to write that book? How much longer am I going to wait to put my hat in the ring for being a professional speaker, a motivational speaker? Really, Janet?
Yeah.
You're around, you know, look down the baseline. You've got just a little bit time. I mean, I can obviously keep doing this until I'm, 90.
Yeah.
I always I joke with my clients that when I turn 90, I'm going to be a Tai Chi instructor. But I think that, speaking and writing are things that are very sustainable, and I'll continue to be a personal fitness trainer as long as I can.
No, that's awesome. And and the one thing, since you brought it up, is like I think sometimes people hold on to problems more than they really do solutions. Like the solution is like to eat better, exercise. I mean, it's very simple, right? I mean, we know that to in every degree, every way you talk, eat better, exercise, you'll be healthy. You know, and sometimes I think we talk ourselves out of it because it's more comfortable to own the problem than it really is to own the solution.
Yes.
You know, and it just, if you grow up that way, if you don't really realize a lot of these things, then you're just subject to continue that same process until you're old. Like, well, what am I going to do now? You know, it'll be like, oh, well, I'm 20, you know, I got plenty of time to do that. Then in your 30s, like, I don't have time. I got a career. I got business. And then when you're 40s, like, I got kids, you know, they got soccer practice. When you're 50, you're like, I'm too old for that now. You know, it's like, well, you'd rather have the problem, complain about it than really fix it.
Yeah, people we tend to, as human nature, to be comfortable where we are. And comfort is one of those funny things. You certainly want to have some comforts in your life. However, nothing grows in the comfort zone. And you have to get a little uncomfortable if you want to change. But the most uncomfortable part is just changing habits. Yeah. You know, that there's a book called Atomic Habits that's out there. And I'm blanking on the author. But
I can pull
Atomic Habits is a great book because it works for every area of your life. But I think that the philosophy behind it is really, really good because it makes you realize just change one little thing. Do it long enough so that it's like brushing your teeth. Then add something else, and then add something else. Yes, that's it. James Clear.
James Clear, Atomic Habits. So a recommendation from Miss Jenna McConnell today. Atomic Habits. Go ahead. I just pulled it up. We didn't really plan that.
Right. Oh, there's another one here too. I can grab it really quick.
We're pulling out books.
Yes.
I'll show you mine if you show me yours. Oh, the book.
The War of Art.
Oh, The War of Art.
You've heard of The Art of War.
Oh.
The old book about battle strategies and how to win in a battlefield. Well, so this is flipped. The War of Art.
So what is this one about?
This one is about breaking through barriers and kind of pulling yourself up by your own bootstraps and how to do it. How the thing that's stopping you is resistance to change. And it takes you through all these steps. And I've heard so many successful people recommend this book. And I just thought, I guess I better just read it. And now here I am recommending it.
I always do that too. And so anytime anything like that crosses my path, I go and get the audio version. Yeah. I may not read it right away, but I do put it on my list of things to get to.
Yeah, The War of Art is something that I've heard people say, every time I start a new project, I read the book again. It's like 100 pages of right in the face.
So as we're nearing the show, was there, you're embracing this new kind of direction in life. So again, it's been primarily fitness, and fitness will still be kind of the baseline, right? The common denominator.
Sure.
But you're getting into public speaking, and you'll be a guest speaker at our event on the 21st. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Is there anything that you want to share with the audience that's been on your mind that you want to kind of is there calling? What's calling to your mind right now as far as like being able to share? Somebody to take away.
I think that one of the most important things to realize is you had said earlier about, well, when I turn 50, it's too late now. Well, the other thing that happens when we turn 50 or in our 50s a lot of times is we see our parents declining.
Yeah.
And we start to see, oh, that's my gene pool. If I don't do anything differently, that's the way I'm going. Am I okay with that? If you're okay with that, that's okay. But it's a definite crossroads. It's a time of decision is in our 50s, I believe, where you really can switch it up. You really can take a different direction if you so desire. And it's exciting to do it because you're kind of a trailblazer at that point. So if you like the idea of being a trailblazer and wanting to live with the longevity of quality so that you have a health line that lasts as long as your lifeline. Wouldn't that be pretty sweet?
Absolutely. So I did want to mention, again, Jan McCall is going to be at our event coming up on the 21st of July. I'm going to put that up there real quick. The link is going to be in the description below, so if you want to buy tickets, you can. There's going to be a coupon code. I haven't put it in yet. Coupon code, if you want $10 off the next event, will be Heatwave. So Type in heat wave. Eventually, I'll get there. I haven't gotten there yet. Don't type it in today. So buy your ticket soon. But also go to LinkedIn and visit Miss Mcconnell right there at Ignite Fitness. We had a little bit of trouble finding her, but that's her right there. The hottie with the body is right there. And then go over to ignitefitnesswithjanet.com for more information about Janet and just what she does. And she's a very inspiring person at 66 years old. And I'm sure there's a lot more to come that we just can't wait for. So
Thank you. Thank you for having me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. And so to all of you, I want to thank everybody for joining us today for Unedited here at our show network live every Tuesday. We kind of do it whenever we do. So we'll catch you guys sometime maybe next week. Thank you, Miss.
Thank you.
We'll see you.